Hey, this is Alex. I do work for Flux Defense. I gotta say that right out the gate, but I'm not doing this for work. I'm just kind of doing this because I wanted to show off my stuff, and I do have some other things I think are cool. So I'm gonna show off my main Raider setup, but I'm gonna show off about 3 or 4 other Raiders slash MP17s that I've had in the past or that I'm working with at the moment. So we'll break that down from my main one to those. Okay, so for those who don't know, the Flux Defense MP17 Raider is kind of a Gen 2 or a 2.0 version of the Flux Defense MP17. MP17 came out in like September of 2019, and it ran through till 2020 due to manufacturing issues and supply chain issues, especially from COVID. The design had to be updated and had to become moldable that would be able to mass produce, and so that's when the MP17 Raider came to be. And so the fastest rundown I can do to explain what the Flux Raider is it takes the SIG P320 or also the SIG M17, M18, the military issue weapons, but the civilian weapons, which is the P320, takes the slide barrel and the guts, because this is a fire control unit, takes those things, you put it into a chassis system like I'll show you right now, and allows you to use it as a type of subgun, PDW system, and more controllable. Small, you can hold 40 to 44 rounds on tap with you, which is extremely useful for security details and this and that. Like, I do this for a living, so talking about Flux Defense and the Flux Raider, I could do it for a long time. I answered so many emails of people asking what the Raider's all about. So that's the shortest, without me going into too much depth about what the Raider is, because really I'm just here to show it off to you. So this is the way that I set up my personal Flux Raider. Obviously it's got a super cool Cerakote job, because this is one that I use for marketing for Flux and that we use when we have shoots. So it pays to have a really cool setup. I'm just going to go from the top to the bottom and show off each individual thing. So first off, we have a Holosun 508T. I've had multiple RMRs. I've had Delta Point. I've had Holosuns. They all work just about the same. The glass is good enough that you can see through it with night vision. The dot's good enough. There's plenty of adjustment settings. So RMR, Delta Point, Holosun, whatever you choose to put on it, an MRDS is most likely the best choice. Now, the enclosed emitter red dots, those might be the evolution of what would be best on the system. So for right now, I've got a 508T on a UTG mount. It's just a cheap mount off Amazon. It maybe costed $15 or $10 or something. That being said, it is good enough. And I'm trying to be careful saying that. It's good enough in terms of the aluminum used is good, locks up really well with the system. It's got screws, like bigger bolts. So the mount itself is not going to be wobbling in any one direction or the other. You can tighten it down really hard. It comes with its own screws to put the optic on there. That being said, I honestly probably would recommend an American Defense manufacturing QD optic mount for the Raider, but this is what I've got on it right now. I've been testing out Scalarworks, which I love the Scalarworks mount, and I'll show you one on a different Raider here in a second. But let's go down. So that's the optic, that's the mount. We have here several things. We've got a thumb. Let's see if I can rotate this enough so you can see. We've got kind of a thumb gas pedal. That is made by Tactical Development. It's awesome. It just gives you a little bit more leverage keeping it flat. This doesn't have too much of an issue keeping flat, but all the while I like accessories and I like helping out brands who are making products. So not only do they make that thing, they make this charging handle. Charging handle is kind of a must on the Raider. We used to have this grip tape, and we still kind of do. We just have to make more of it, but the grip tape would help in racking the slide. But ever since the charging handle came out from Tactical Development and from Virtuous Engineering, I think it's just been a game changer, and I think most people who own a Raider would agree. I haven't messed with the Virtuous Engineering one yet, just because I don't have a P320 with a slide milled out for an optic. So once I do pick one of those up, I'll probably try out the Virtuous Engineering one, because I've heard good things about both of these systems. So next up, the other side, we just have a Flux Picatinny rail. That's still in R&D, still being tested on, and I think we are going to be going ahead on that pretty soon. But people have been asking for that for a while. It's coming. It's just, it wasn't the highest priority. So next up, we're going to look at the light. See if it'll zoom. There we go. Pick that up. So I have an X300 just because these switches are a little bit tougher to actuate, and honestly because it's become the perfect light for the bag. I've tried the TLR1, that would turn on by itself in the bag. I tried an O-light, that would turn on by itself in the bag, drain the battery. I tried an Inforce, same thing. The paddle switches don't really work the best for me. So again, the Surefire X300 has the best switches, I think, for the system if you're going to keep this in a bag. Now, aside from that, I'm just going to show you the one last feature that I do like, and then I'll go on to these other Raiders and I'll show you those. But the safety, that's all dependent upon whether you like to run a safety or not. I keep one on just because when I'm showing people the Raider for the first time, I do like to show them that there are safety capabilities, but I tend to run it without the safety because I keep this in my bag. I don't keep it chambered because it is a platform that's, for me, requires a little bit more setup. I'm lefty. This isn't something I can just quickly rip out of the bag as a right-hander, deploy it, and be ready to go. It takes me a couple more steps, and so that extra step of the safety is fine because I'm usually carrying a pistol, concealed carrying a pistol. So I would rather have this if I have time to rip it out. So let's go on to the other Raiders. We're going to go with one that we're about to do some more marketing on right now just for law enforcement. And it's a all black setup. This one's got an aimpoint T2 on top with an American Defense quick detach lever mount. I do love this mount, and I actually think this is a super solid setup the way it is. But it's all black for law enforcement. They're not going to be Cerakoting and painting their issued Raiders when it comes to that. So just showing this off, I guarantee it's going to be something like an X300 or a TLR1 that would be on here. So this is just something we're going to use for marketing here this week or next week. Next up, this is another older one that I have. This is pre-production actually, so this had a couple issues, and we had to alter the mold a tiny bit to update it to have to get rid of a couple of tolerancing issues that were fixed in the new ones all of our production ones. So this, like I'm saying, pre-production, it didn't come out the greatest at first, but I took one and I have one. I have it set up kind of for night vision. It's a little bit taller. The ScalarWorks mount is amazing on the Raider, and I switched between the ScalarWorks mount and the EOTech Unity mount. This guy. Both of these are incredible for passive aiming for night vision. So if I don't have this on here, I've got this on the pick rail with like the 508T or an RMR or something like that. Again, just cool. I've got some grip tape on here. Just a fun build, but it's something that I switch back and forth between my other Raider and this one. On to the next one. This next one is not per se a serious build. I just like to have certain optics on here. Whether I would use it or not like this way, I don't know. But I haven't shot this MP17 because I'm kind of afraid to. I've shot other MP17s in the past, but we didn't make many of these. And so this is in pristine condition. I don't really want to shoot it and have that carbon build up. I just kind of want to leave it in its pristine form factor just because I think I built the majority. No, I don't think. I did build the majority of the MP17s, the original ones. And because of that, this is more like a family heirloom type of collectible thing that I want to keep and keep in good condition. But as of right now, yes, I do have an EOTech EXPS2 on it, just for fun. I think it's kind of funny. I did install this sweet pick rail on top and laser engraved a couple of things in there. But I think it's fun. And so I'm going to leave this kind of in my lockbox because I do believe one day it's going to be worth quite a bit, and I still think I'm going to keep a hold of it at that time. Now on to the last one. This one is another one that I use for marketing, but it's kind of fun because it's a modification I did to the Raider. I don't recommend people do this unless they specifically are looking for this exact mod, but right here we have a chopped Raider. This, I know some people got really mad when these first started circulating, but look, Ben was the first one to do it here in the shop. He's one of the owners of Flux, and I followed suit quickly, and this one has been awesome for those optic cut P320 slides. I ran it with an AXG Scorpion slide with an RMR on it for a while. Super cool, really minimal. If you're gonna wear it under a jacket, it's kind of the way to go, instead of going with one of those like ones over here with the ScalarWorks mount or with a whole big ol' optic on it. So it's kind of fun. And that is the collection of Raiders I have in the office at the moment. You'll probably be seeing some of these in marketing sometime in the next couple weeks. But yeah, like I said, this isn't a video for work. It's just a video because I'm excited about the things I do at work, and so hence I like showing off my stuff. It's fun. I love showing off this beauty. Taylor Tech Arms Cerakoted this one in M81. He did a couple other ones. He did Gypsy Walters had a Raider that he Cerakoted Arid multicam, and that one is awesome, and I'm jealous. I kind of want to take one of these other ones and get it done Arid, but he's by far the best in the business right now to Cerakote the Flux Raider. So there's a little plug in there. So yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. I run that slide on my Raiders with a silencer co barrel, threaded barrel, and the Agency 2-port comp. I love the Agency 2-port comp over a lot of the other compensators, even though I like Parker Mountain Machine. Harrington Arms makes one that is a really flat shooter. I just have tended to fall in love with this Agency Arms one. So that being the case, I will see you guys in another video. Hopefully you guys drop by the channel and see what else I got to offer, but I don't really talk about this stuff often, so I figured I'd make one video explaining the whole thing. So there we go. See ya.